such a blessing, I guess. And I'll try not to go too long because I know Brother Levi's got a message from God for us. But about 7 weeks ago on a Tuesday morning, Jill's early Tuesday morning, Jill's cell phone went off, a text message, and it was early. And I'm like, who in the world is sending you a text message at this time of the morning? And she said, it's from Megan. I said, okay. And she said, you're going to want to see this. And I said, okay. Even though I was asleep, I really didn't want to see that. But I kind of sat up and I opened one eye like halfway and I looked at the phone and there was a picture. And then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, is that what I think it is? And she said, yes, it is. And it was a pregnancy test, a home pregnancy test, and it was positive. Now, we have been on them. I mean, we have Emma. That's our only grandchild. And we've been dropping not so subtle hints because, you know, y'all know me. And about when we're going to get another grandbaby. And we were always met with a resoundingly negative response, as in, ain't gonna happen, kind of thing. But, so this caught us completely off guard. So that evening, we went over to get Emma because she spends the night with us a lot, or did before school started on Tuesday nights with us. And as we were talking to her, she was really excited. And we asked her, what do you want the baby to be? A baby brother or a baby sister? And she said she wanted a baby sister. So I started sharing with her, Brother Levi, some of the story of why I needed this to be a baby boy. And she let me get a few sentences in and she said, Papa, you can stop because you've told me this story before. And I told her, I'll just go ahead and tell you, that's what papas do. We tell stories. And we tell them the same stories a lot. And sometimes we even tell them the same way a couple of times. But so tonight, as way of announcement, I have a bag with me. We're going to get to this bag in just a few minutes. But we have a gender reveal. So, part of the story that I was trying to tell Emma, and I'll keep this short because trust me, y'all, well, I don't have to tell you because y'all know me. I could give you the long version of this, but I'll try to keep it short. But when I was born, I already had 2 sisters, and there was already 2 older sisters. And a few years later, my mother gave birth, and a few years later, she gave birth again. And I'd like to tell y'all that one of them was a baby brother, but I can't. And they were sisters. And so there's 4 sisters and a mother. And so 5 women, and I'm completely surrounded by women, by girls. Girls, you get that? Girls. And she's rolling her eyes at me, which is so fun. So then time goes by, and I met Jill, and we got married, and guess what? There's another girl. And my mother passed away, and we were talking about this today. My mother passed away in December of 1978, and we believe it was the first funeral that was held in this building back in 1978. But a few years went by, and my dad remarried, and he married a lady who had children. And I'd like to tell y'all that my dad finally married me into a brother. But I can't tell you that because of the girls. And so there's 2 more girls and a stepmother. So we're up to 8. We're up to 8. A wife, that makes 9. Then we found out we were going to have a child. Well, back when our child came along, they didn't have this rub the little magic wand over the woman's belly and tell you what it's going to be. You waited the 9 months to find out. Now, there's a lot that I could add to this story about that day, but I won't. If you want to know, ask me sometime. It's hilarious, I'll tell you. But we got all the way down to the end, and they didn't get me back there in time to see the baby be born. And me and the doctor, well, anyway, I'd like to tell y'all that was a boy, but of course I can't because she's sitting right there. It was a girl. There's another girl. So a few years went by. We found out we were going to have another baby. And guess what? When the baby got here, it was a girl. And we had little Emily Nicole And she came a month early, and she was so special and so perfect and so precious that God decided he wanted her there with him. And he called her home to be with him. And then a few years went by, and we found out we were going to have another. And I'd like to tell you that was a boy, but of course I can't. It was Steffi. So my dad had divorced and remarried, and I'd like to say finally, after all those years, Dad married a woman who had kids and finally married me into a brother. But I can't, because they were all girls. So we're up to about 14 or 15 girls. So I have a spiritual reference that I promise I'm going to get to in this reveal. Yesterday, Megan had a doctor's appointment. And one of the things that they can do at the doctor's appointment, now she's between 12 and 13 weeks now, and that's really, we weren't expecting to find out for a few more weeks. And the nurse asked her, do you want to know, or are y'all going to find out what the gender is? And she said, yes. And she said, okay, well, it's, and she showed her on the pictures, and Jill sent me a text message with pictures, and I would like to tell y'all that it's going to be a boy. But, Tammy, you started clapping too soon. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Emma is. Come here. Come here, let's meet you. We're going to have a little talk, and then I'm going to show you what we got going on here. Okay? Come up here and stand. Come up here and stand. Now, we know that when I asked you that night that we found out what you want the baby to be, what was your answer?
A girl.
A girl. And you're pretty adamant that it's going to be a girl, right? Okay. Did you know your mother went to the doctor yesterday?
Yep.
Did you know that the nurse told her what sex the boy's going to be, the boy or girl was going to be?
Nope.
So you don't know?
Nope.
Okay. In this bag, we have a teddy bear. Okay. And this teddy bear has a ribbon. And this ribbon will be either pink or blue. Do you know what that means? If it's a pink ribbon, what does that mean?
A girl.
And if it's a blue ribbon, what does that mean?
A boy.
Okay. Now, we know that you want a little girl. But we also know that in our lives, God lets us make decisions most of the time on things that affect us in our lives, right? But sometimes God makes decisions for us, and he gives us what he wants us to have, right? So we talked about this. If this turns out that it is a boy, you're still going to be okay, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be happy. You got that look on her face, right? I'm just trying to fill you out before we do this reveal, because I want to make sure that if it comes out of there with the blue ribbon on, we're going to be okay. Now, when your mother was a little girl and we had Aunt Steffi, she really helped your mother, or your grandma, take care of her, and she helped me a lot. So we know that you're going to do good helping take care of the baby, regardless, right? And you're going to be happy, and you're going to play, and you're going to teach this baby about Jesus. Is that right? And you're going to teach this baby to sing about Jesus, and hopefully one day me and you and this baby will all get to stand up and sing together like we do. Okay, so with this bear, what we're going to do is, I'm going to stand in front of you so nobody can see except that Brother Levi and Brother Doug will be able to see. And then you're going to pull it out, and you're going to get to see what it is first. And I'm going to step to the side, and you can say, it's a, and then according to the color, tell them, right? Okay, so now what I want you to do is, you take this bear, and you take it home, and you take really good care of it for the next several months. And when this baby gets here, and this baby comes home, and then you can give this baby this bear, and we won't have to tell this baby that me and Grandma bought the bear, because this baby's going to think, wow, my big sister is already giving me stuff. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, so you ready? You sure you're ready? All right, stand right here. Reach down in there and pull the bear out. If you can find it. All right, so It's a,
Boy.
now my spiritual connotation to this is that on the bottom of this baby's feet, this bear's feet, the right foot says hope. The left foot says Isaiah 40:31. And some of you, probably all of you know, that verse starts off with, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. So I waited for a long time, and I honestly can tell you from the bottom of my heart that my heart is renewed. We've been praying for a long time. I love my daughters. They're good people. I love my granddaughter. I really do. I've made fun of it. I've made jokes about it. But the women who have been in my life have been tremendous to me. But thank you, Lord, for